you're crying, it will be alright. Just take my hand, hold it tight. I will protect you from all around you. I will be here, don't you cry. For one so small, you seem so strong. My arms will hold you, keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. I will be here, don't you cry. 'Cause you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on, now and forevermore. You will be in my heart. No matter what they say, you'll be here in my heart always. Why can't they understand the way we feel? They just don't trust what they can't explain. I know we're different, but deep inside us, we're not that different at all. And you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on, now and forevermore. Don't listen to them, 'cause what do they know? We need each other to have to hold. They'll see in time. I know. When destiny calls you, you must be strong. I may not be with you, but you've gotta hold on. They'll see in time. I know. We'll show them together, 'cause you'll be in my heart. Believe me, you'll be in my heart. I'll be there from this day on, now and forevermore. Heart beats fast, colors and promises. How to be brave? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? But watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave. I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. And all along I believed that I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. Only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. office with another
Ayaw po yung kanina pa yung sa
company,
permahan?
which is actually my brother's. And so, today, I am recording this video message in order to validate what has already been exchanged through formal legal documents. My name is CLARISSA M. Talaga. My full married name is CLARISSA T. Talaga Garcia. And right now, I'm in the middle of consolidating all my records in order for the system to identify the fund sources that I am receiving right now and connect them to my history, to my resume in both both in the business and finances. And so it can be Monday, and I can be working in shirts and shorts because I've started work from home even before the lockdown last 17th of March 2020. So last year I already adopted a letterhead bearing the company logo, the company name which is registered, and this address, 1791 CM Recto Street, Pleasantfield Subdivision, Barangay Ilayang, Lucena City, Province of Quezon, Republic of the Philippines. And I want to address myself to the board of Grab and John Motors, especially Mr. Anthony Tan and Ms. Huiling Tan. Let me make myself clear. I have not been privy to the operation or ownership of Grab and its many franchises and operations throughout Southeast Asia. More so with Grab Philippines, to which I never acted as if I was connected with them. Truth be told, I don't even get to enjoy the basic privileges apart from the interface with text that reads, "There's nothing for you here." Upon opening my Grab app, that's what can be read. There's nothing for you here. In all my written communications, I have never requested or asserted for any acknowledgement or recognition from the management of Grab Philippines located at Wilcon IT Hub office in Chino Rosas Avenue, Makati City, because that will be false and so without basis. I have pictures of said dates and I am providing my social media accounts. I only started uploading articles with Grab logo when I was about to pursue in earnest Republic Act number 10364 or the Enhanced Philippine Law Against Human Trafficking. The formal communication will enable me to validate the information for a series of announcements in all major newspapers broadsheets here in the Philippines about the coming projects by this CLARISSA talaga, whom Mr. Anthony Tan and family had come to know, presumably. So if I extend my thanks to some drivers, an advisory can prohibit me from doing that again. The real activities and people being contacted by yours truly, apparently one of the many CLARISSA talaga Garcias, should be aware that there are other posers and those posers have done something reprehensible, criminal for her to be object of entrapment by some operatives whose confidentiality will be subject of administrative inquiry. Established is the fact that I share the same name with a woman who must not be named, and yet by the virtue of our citizenship, the both of us or the likes of us should still enjoy presumption of innocence until proven guilty, and civil liberties until judicially taken away. Respeto pa din. If I will assert to be the real one who has in a very small and humble way contributed something to the image of the Republic of the Philippines as a published writer, an independent filmmaker, and with international persona, I have to formalize the informal public knowledge so that the likes of Grab Philippines can respond to or object, and preferably in a cordial tone, in a manner befitting the courtesy letters that I was sending. One can easily make understandable the sentiment of either confusion or a vehement objection. It's a chance for me to comply with willingly and voluntarily upon knowing about it. We just don't dispense with benefit of the doubt or common courtesy, even to the most lowly citizen, and assuming for argument's sake that some lowly, uneducated, ignorant Filipinos of zero income had caused you major discomfort or inconvenience or had slur the company's name, use you, that you lost so much income or revenue, or that she had planned to rob you. How would you know, by the way? Well, it might not have been intentional given that you have not let me know
if we can help it, hindi ba it is better to not jump the gun, especially that Grab Philippines is operating here based on a franchise, a privilege not given to other business or company of the same nature.
Good. Any request, Attorney Padis, to answer some questions from the court?
Chanced upon
Wait.
the oral arguments being heard by the Supreme Court on anti-terror, and that's very interesting for me. One point of interest for me in listening in is that you know, the passion and the picture words that usually lawyers and officers of the court employ in their oral arguments. So there's much to learn in listening to them by a layperson like me. But going back to my own work, actually, you know, the things that I am sharing at this point in time, they are the used to be unresolved, you know, the pent-up emotions that, oh my gosh, that had plagued my waking moments. So I had to resolve it, and I have to exhaust it out of my system. And by this time, it is very good. It's very good visual aids and case study in how we should deal with our emotions. Like, you know, in my absence, it's very clear my daughters chose not to have the important space be filled up by another member of the family, as the blank spaces in the signature of guardian or parents had remained blank. You know, I was the one who would fill up the blank whenever a parent or guardian is needed. So all their life, walang ibang signature na nakita sa report cards, some attendance for PTA meetings. When my mother was still stronger and she was mobile, whenever I could not make it to go with any of them, some field trips, out of town trips, usually in Metro Manila, educational trip that started while they were in preschool, in elementary, in high school, I got to share that experience with my mother. So siya lang. So kung merong masasabi ang father nila sa Nueva Ecija, it should be taken with a grain of salt because he's not here. Because of the circumstances, I am not purely blaming, I'm not blaming him. Because I share the blame, I chose to end the marriage, the relationship. So yeah. Also, one of the consequences that the whole family had to deal with is the situation such as those that in my absence, there's not another one who could fill up the void. The signatures are but formality. It will require but a few minutes to accomplish that. What cannot be dismissed as likely are the days in between. That's much too important to ignore. That's too much. This is the basic reason why it had been hard for me to allow the grounds I had to stay in Sigal's Foundation to remain uncontested to this day. You know, the report cards, PTA meetings, milestones like birthdays, one-on-one and as a group celebration, PTA meetings, like one of them has to perform in a school play. There is a series of meetings and preparation whenever there's class program or event. So yun, so it's an endless thing talaga. So during those times, I did not have a substitute or a representative. I was very hands-on. So none of them was attended by their father. He is one and the same. Had I not been there, they chose to not settle with any substitute parent. So I think that is very significant matter of fact. The graduation rites, if I could make it, if I could not make it, the graduation rites, if I could not make it, they would rather not attend or attend without any elder in attendance. So the only time that I was not there to attend this very special event was when I was in the nighttime in
Seagulls Flight Foundation. So that's why it is a very poignant lesson learned for all of us. The job fell on JM. She's the eldest in my absence. So in my absence, she was the one who would accompany her younger sisters. I don't expect those people to care, like in the bureaucracy, those who are hearing the case involving us, but these are the de facto things that are happening to us day by day. You know, sabi ko nga, you know, one of the grudges that I had to resolve was, why does it seem that whenever the talk goes, you know, the discussion, the attention was out of my finance, like how I spend money and the budget that I had, that I found myself, you know, that I worked and found myself with. Whenever the topic veers away from that, there's not much interest anymore. So the point, the center of obsession really was in the finance and in the budget and in the funds. So that was how I had felt back then. So in the same way, there's not much interest in my daughter's situation while I was not around to fulfill my parental duties. So by my lone stand, I looked at the only time I was not there to be a parent to them. And when I say that, good days, bad days, in between, it's not just the quality, but it's the quantity. I wasn't just there in my good days. I was still around, I was still present while in my bad days. While things were falling apart, my physical presence could be counted on. So that's a reality. As it turned out, we heard differently from various sources. So lo and behold, what I did discover when I went out to make a research about the reasons for someone like me ending up in a rehab. So, and in the same way, my own daughter didn't even attempt to approach anybody, and they had waited out. So they opted to wait for me to have somebody beside them. So it's out of the question for me to remain vulnerable, that one of these days, the same thing will happen again because of unresolved conflict, unresolved grounds. Some grievance are yet to be pacified and settled. That's why I took it upon myself, to open the communication lines. So that's why when the grounds used in January 30th, 2017, the grounds that were used for me to live in the facility in the absence of 3 growing daughters. So I came across, that's the first time I have known Kuya Ed and Ate Chit Castillo. I am so thankful na rin that it is in their company, in their facility, that I would end up spending 16 months, very crucial 16 months of my life. So, but at this point in time, the least we can do is ask for a review. Nakabase ba sa realidad yung mga na-cite na instances and mga grounds. So, para mawala yung suspensya na, ay parang misidentification or napagkamalan lang, dahil hindi namin, we didn't have a chance to look at the evidence or the proof. So, right now, through my company, I was able to get a hold of some really starkly erroneous records. So, together with my daughters, we had looked for our own, the proof of our existence. Who are we? Who we were? How were we living our life? So, pinagtulungan namin ipunin ng proof of our existence. Ito na pala ang simulain ng pangangalap na sagot kung ito ba ay isang kaso ng... Yes, that's it. So, on many grounds. So I've never did drugs and I don't even know what it looks like in person. I can only see them in the movies and in pictures. So that's also what had astounded some other residents when I relate to them. So at what point in the behavior would require that long absence? So, actually, my decision was respected because I chose to finish the program. I do not want to leave behind an unresolved question like I couldn't make it. It's tough. Waking up in the structure, the routine. Anybody, my kind of program will not be healthy for another resident. The chores and the responsibilities that I had undertaken, they were for a very fit person who could withstand the menial and manual chores of taking care of a household. And I believe that I was healthy naman when I got back. So, the competition, right now, the competition of the education of these girls, since high school and college, I want to start there. And if the need arises, probably their education will in elementary. But really, the contentious part would be the funds for their education when they had reached high school and more so in college. So they should be based on receipts, and there are records, like we can always ask the school to provide us with billing statements or the computations of the expenses. One-time expense would come from tuition fee, right? But every day, I haven't thanked my brother at every opportunity that I get. So without him, I know I will not be able to survive it as well. So yeah, I buti na lang si Jerry. He has a comfortable finance that I was able to ask for help. Pero ganun pa man, the very reason why we would need help, that's a matter for review. So these two being put to the computation of their education is based on receipts, and I'm still on it. I had used the securities synonymous with my name and profession, what my name signifies, what my name owns. I had used them as securities. The current legal status that we have now, that is making it, that is posing a technical problem in finally redeeming the mortgage or the pledges and giving back the funds that we should pay back. The reason being they were loans. They were not giveaways. They were not given to us on understanding that it's financial assistance that doesn't require to be paid back. Ako din, the very purpose of those funds then and now would be to help out another family member to finish schooling, to finish college, and enjoy the same opportunities that my own daughters were able to hold on so that they could land a very good job. So this is yours truly, CLARISSA talaga.